is for honor night, but a sit-down banquet. So some things you need to look at one day before. A really elaborate event, you want to plan this well in advance, like we're doing for honors night. So you want to really have a timeline of what you do one day before, what you do hours before, an hour or two before the meal, 30 minutes before the meal, during the dinner, and after the dinner. So we'll go over those in a second here. As I mentioned, in a sit-down banquet, each course is delivered within a 20-minute period. And that's very important to stay within that. Our guests get kind of grumbly as they're waiting for their next course to come. Multi-stations for plating of dishes, banquets assembly line 100 to 150 guests, or double-sided at 175 to 200. You need hot holding carts or boxes, Queen Marys. They're large carts where pre-plated buffet items or dishes can be placed. You may need rolling refrigerators to help with the preparation. So with a sit-down service, let's look at the things you want to do, as I mentioned before, up to one day before. Usually a daily event ordering meeting. And you want to have these, if you're extremely busy operation, daily, where everyone meets, all participants, the chefs, the banquet managers, stewarding staff, the event planner or catering manager. They meet with everybody involved. An off-premise event, details are started such as tents or dance floors are usually done by the event planner. A kitchen usually has most completed hours before, or many hours before. Don't wait till last minute for that, and you want to make sure that the event planner has checked this out a long time ago so that everything is pre-arranged. Now the setup crew, they're going to line up the linens and make sure they double count the linen, check the quality. Sometimes linen may not be up to par. Want to check the tableware. Usually the stewarding department handles this. Check the china, make sure none were broken, especially for an off-premise event. The truck or the van can be loaded with as much as possible. You want to get to that location as much early as possible, get it set up. Floral arrangements, in-house or outside vendor. You need to handle that when the floral arrangements are going to be delivered, so you kind of need to have that on your information. Set up the kitchen working area, the dish area, so many hours before you have that all set up. Again, the florist, you have entertainment, wedding cake, bartender, photography, and much more to be set up, and have that well in advance of the event. An hour or two prior to serving dinner, you want the bartender to serve drinks, appetizers, if they're on the menu, they're served. Large galas, the receptions, staff serves chilled glasses of champagne or other beverages. The kitchen plates at main course, placing in hot boxes for American style. Now here we are, 30 minutes before the event. The expediter checks behind the scenes of the plating and then readies the banquet station for service. The maitre d' gives directions for guests to come into the room. Kind of the big showcase, that's that wow factor you want to have when you open those doors. During the dinner, the flow of service is by the maitre d' hotel, the banquet manager, and or captain, 20 minutes per station, as I mentioned before. Food runners alert kitchen staff. Stewards bring the banquet hot boxes to the banquet station. The food runners, stewards place plates on large banquet trays, and wait persons bring out the food to the guests. Food is later removed. So one course is within that 20-minute period. Sommelier oversees the wine service. Event planner asks client for final payment. As we learned at Turnip Rose, that payment is actually made well in advance. So after dinner, the bus persons constantly return plates, etc., back to the kitchen and the dishwash station. Linen is then removed only after an event has ended. You don't want to remove the linen while guests are still there. That's very rude. So wait till the event is over. A room is dismantled. Kitchen stewards clean up the kitchen. Now, the service coordination is a little bit different for a buffet. We'll review what you do up to 1 day before, hours before the event, an hour before the dinner is served, at the dinner, during the dinner, and after the dinner. So up to 1 day before, refer to your banquet order. Going to check your banquet order, confer with the chef, have an event order meeting where everybody reviews the event. Off-premise, you want to make sure the tents have been set up, dance floor. So hours before the event, linen is laid out by setup crew. Check and load day prior to if it's to an off-premise. Setup crew lines up linen, counts and checks quality. Tableware is set up, usually is stored handles, and again the china. Most of the prior can be done the day before when possible. So if you have availability to room and you can do it a day ahead of time, by all means, you can use less labor that way and have the room set up. Truck or van can be loaded with as much as possible. Again, if you can do that the day before, the better. Floral arrangements, you have to handle those too for an event, in-house or outside vendor. Set up the kitchen working area, dish up area. So if you're doing that off premise, you have to set up that kitchen the same as you do for a sit down event. Maybe less kitchen needed because you maybe can cook it in your on-site location and just deliver the food there. Florist, entertainment, wedding cake, bartender, photographer. You've got to check that timeline and make sure all those people are showing up and delivering on appropriate times. An hour or two prior to the dinner service, bartender serves drinks, appetizers are served. Then the food arrives at the stations. Now at the dinner hour, the event planner, host, maitre d' signal for guests to enter the room. May have dinner chimes, and that could be for a sit-down event as well. The lights may dim to let you know the dinner is about to be served. Music could have been playing and then stops right when dinner is being served. During dinner hour, the flow of food is the maitre d' hotel, banquet manager, or captain control flow of food. Expediter or the food checker inspects the food. Food handlers along with the maitre d' hotel monitors sufficiency of food items. Make sure you count pieces, count guests in line, always know how much backup is available. So if you see the food is out there, you know what's in the carts and it's looking low and you have a lot of guests in line, you want to make sure you let the food expediter is letting the kitchen know right away. Wait staff will be serving the beverages, remove plates and tableware. Bus staff take plates to the kitchen, the dish room, and again, final payments discussed with the client. That's the event planner that handles that, and again, that could be handled well in advance. Now, a large aspect of service is also uniforms. Why do you have them? Well, a couple of reasons. They